The exhibition is called Plate is Bed, Plate is Sun, Plate is Circle, Plate is Cycle. I use this title as a way to talk about forms and as they reproduce and how they become symbols. I like to work site-specifically, and so I used the gallery's architecture to create two separate displays. Upstairs in the gallery is a more dense display, focused also on smaller ceramics, the ceramic tile, which is, of course, a modular small form that gets used for domestic spaces, that gets used for architecture. Downstairs in the gallery, everything is scaled up because also I used a different modular form of ceramic as the basis of the downstairs space, which is the plate, which sits behind me. The starting point of this exhibition was actually a specific ceramic work by the artist Bernard Leach, which is a ceramicist from the early 20th century based in the UK. He was known for bridging a gap between Japan and England and spent his entire life communicating cross-culturally with ceramics. All the works in the exhibition, they bounce off of each other. They have images and forms that kind of mirror each other. The table was something I found in an auction catalog from 1912, I think, the table was produced. And I decided to use this table and create multiples of it, also to emphasize its presence in the space and to utilize this serial motif possibility. So it was a way of including even more images inside the exhibition by putting them on the tiles in the space. So while I paint on the floor, I'm drawing constantly on the surface of the painting. I use plastics, papers, I lay them across the surface of the canvas, I draw on them, I move them around, I cut them out, and I use all of these things to create stenciled forms on which I spray with my garden hose all of the acrylic paint, which falls like a kind of rain or a mist on the surface. Quite important to me, this idea of the material integrating with another material. It's like a bridge. So it's not about surfaces, it's about like staining. It's a kind of material conceptual ploy I use to talk about like accessibility, you know. In terms of the ceramic plates that are behind me, this is a kind of diary of the last years of research I'd been doing also with my friends in researching a lot of the Mediterranean basin and motifs from there, but then also certain motifs that Bernard Leach was employing. So what you can see on the ceiling is, I think there are 3 or 4 different images of plates. They're images of ceramic plates that I've asked the artificial intelligence to produce. I would have never imagined that this kind of image, I wouldn't have produced this image myself, but actually it's probably looking at the exact same historic ceramics that I'm looking at when I'm producing all of the plates. There are 3 works in the show that don't really have this relationship. They're like the jokers in the show, or like a wild card. There are 3 very large format drawings. On them, you have different animal imagery. These are based on Otsue prints. That's a kind of historic craft object. And on them, you have different kind of motifs that explain sort of jokes or fables or kind of little funny narratives. They were produced in mass. And this type of popular art is something that I'm very interested in because I'm producing these like massive amounts of ceramics and multiples, and I'm interested in this interplay between historic craft movements and the valorization of those things in art history and in our contemporary life.